And Suhaib Bryim writes, "Hey guys and gals of Collider, I'm digging the new green look. I was wondering, with Marvel having their own studio for the MCU and having made some great films, I'm thinking most of that success is due to them having their own studio under Disney. Do you think it's a good thing for DC to have their own studio under WB in order to deliver the same quality of films and compete with Marvel? And what will it take for that to happen? Keep up the great work."
I'll take the unpopular opinion of this. It has nothing to do with it. It has absolutely nothing to do with it. Kevin Feige still has to answer to Bob Iger and Horn and all the guys at Disney, just like they were if there wasn't a separate Marvel studio. It's just that they've organized it differently. And I'm sure there are benefits to that. I'm sure Kevin Feige will tell us there are benefits to that. But ultimately, it's just about who's calling the shots. And you don't have to be organized one way or another way to have a guy who's calling the shots. And ultimately, Iger at Disney is calling the shots, and then through his surrogate Kevin Feige, who comes up with all the ideas, and Iger has to approve it, and Horn has to approve it, and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, the administration of it, I really don't think plays a big role in this. I know everybody else thinks it does. I'll probably be the unpopular opinion here, but I really don't think the bureaucracy of it and the administration setup and how the org chart is set up is what ultimately gave us a good movie. Remember, Marvel was a studio before they ever joined Disney. I mean, they just got acquired by Disney. So would it be good for DC to set up a standalone branch called DC Studios? Sure, it'd probably be helpful, but as far as giving credit to why the Marvel films have been so great is because it's organized this way. I don't see it. Schnepp, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree, because studios are all just subdivided little, shingles, what they call them, and Marvel's a very large shingle. But DC, Marvel and DC both just got removed from New York and moved over to here to LA, the comic book companies and the entire organization, just to centralize everything. But there is no DC, studio. It's Warner Brothers studio, and that's just how, I mean, it's the same kind of thing, only the perception is that Marvel Studios is this, they do have a big studio office, but I don't think it's going to change it whether they make a DC Studios or not.
It's not necessary. I mean, like you said, it's the structure and it's the way that they modeled themselves, and it's a team that they assembled, and they just decided with that creative branch, they built out the Marvel Studios, and that's the way they do business as a studio. Because remember, before their properties were everywhere. It was Sony and still are, Fox, and then Paramount, and it was all over the place. And then finally, once they had that hit with Paramount, it wasn't Disney, it was Paramount with Iron Man. Mm-hmm. They were able to build, and they were able to start. Okay, this is what we eventually want to do, and they had the business model. And what Schnepp pointed out with DC's part of Warner Brothers. Now they can absolutely put together a creative team, which they have.
Which they have,
and then Kevin Tsujihara and whoever else is running it. And I think that once you start to establish these movies with hits, remember they haven't had a big hit yet. Man of Steel, before Man of Steel, there was just bomb after bomb, and movies weren't working. In this new DC universe, we know Batman v Superman is going to be a hit, even if it's not great. It's still going to be a hit, and I think it's going to be great.
It's make a lot of money.
Yeah, I think it's going to make a lot of money. Now, once we get the Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman, once those movies start developing, you're going to see more people stepping up in the front, and the Kevin Feige, if you will point it. Because Kevin Feige, even though he was part of it, didn't really start becoming a household name until like 3, 4, 5 films in there. That's when you started hearing his name and knowing what Marvel Studios was doing. So Marvel Studios, DC team, it doesn't matter.